What's up, y'all? So today we're going to take a look and talk about this super controversial, wildly viral video of this Acorn cop. I guess he's been called now. So here's the setup and the premise. They go on this call, and of course this happens in Florida, of course, right? They're on this call on what seems to be a DV case, or a call anyway. The guy that they are interacting with, or going to end up essentially arresting or detaining anyway, was alleged to have had a gun with a silencer on it. That's kind of an important part of this whole conversation because, well, we'll dive into that as we go, but let's take a look at this video and see what happens here. Again, this went super viral. So he's walking by.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! You know. I'm hit!
This is crazy.
I'm in the car! I was shot through the car! Oh!
This is the wildest thing I've probably seen on body cam. The fact that he's just got his weapon sitting on the floor. This is just so poorly trained. So poorly trained. You never put, like, he just got his weapon resting on the floor. Absolutely insane work. With the mag out. If you were being fired at, are you kidding me? On set.
I'm good. I feel weird, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
By the way, you hear the screams of the girlfriend.
I mean,
the girlfriend called the police because the boyfriend was harassing her. Now she's screaming and crying because she thinks he may have been killed.
Get back!
I might have hit my vest. Stay inside your house. Stay inside your house.
Absolutely insane work right here. Mind you, he shot it into his car, if you didn't catch that part.
Stop right there.
It might have hit my vest. I don't know.
This guy's clueless.
I'm not.
Absolutely clueless.
I don't know. It felt like it.
Now, here's the thing. He says, I don't know. When you have your adrenaline rushing to that level and extreme, you're probably more than likely going to block it out if you caught it in a non-vital part of your body. It's possible that you're not aware of it. You know, granted, if you hit somewhere where it's going to immobilize you, you're clearly going to know you're shot. But at the same time, like, you kind of know, you would know to an extent. But he's like, I don't know if I got shot.
Jesse, move over to me. I got you. Move over to me.
So backup arrives.
Jesse, come back. Mark vehicle right there. Dude, am I hit? Come on.
So that's the video. All right. Now, come back here, and all of this stemmed from an acorn that fell from this tree up here and hit the top of his cruiser. Mind you, the suspect is arrested or detained, whatever, in the back of the cruiser right now. So he's walking by. I don't know how slow we can get this, to be honest with you. Playback speed, we probably can slow it down a little bit here. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to see it in the frame here. I mean, this video isn't like the best quality, but let's see if we can scrub through here a little bit. I don't think we're going to catch it in frame. Do we catch it in frame? We don't really see it in frame. I can't see it in the frame here. Oh, no, I actually did. I actually saw it. It's hard to see. It's going to come like right with this left side window. You're going to see something bounce right there real quick. It's very quick. Let me see if I can slow it down even further to really see this. Right there. There it is. This little black thing right here. It came right here and it bounced right out. Let me get one more frame back. Right here. Here it is dropping. This black thing right here is going to hit and go off to the left side. Boom. That's the little thing that came down. Now let's put the audio back on and let me see if we can hear this. All right. I heard it. It's a little faint click. When I was in the Marine Corps, I did some time doing some weapons instruction on the range. I've been exposed and fired off weapons with silencers. That was not the sound of a silencer. That level of click was not the sound of a silenced weapon at all. And then he goes on here to do the stop drop, open up shop 3 times in a row, rolling. All right. And then he takes and fires into the back of his vehicle here. Essentially mag dumps the vehicle. Mind you, the guy's in the back of the vehicle. The guy they detained or arrested is sitting in the back of that cruiser. It's a miracle that guy came out of it unscathed. However, he is absolutely going to file a civil suit for this. Negligence, emotional trauma. He's going to end up coming out big out of this, especially because this went super viral, right? So we saw what happened here. Again, he dumps more rounds, fully mag dumps, drops the mag. I already mentioned it earlier. This was problematic right here. It goes to show you bad cop training. He just leaves his weapon on the ground. He's laying there, all types of bad. All right. We see what's happening here. Now, the story and the plot thickens here because we actually have the internal affairs report that was released here. And I highlighted some parts of this that really, to me, stand out and paint a better picture of everything. So these IA investigators are talking to, and the officer here his name is Deputy Hernandez. So it's important here, and they highlighted that they talked to Deputy Hernandez, and he said that I patted him down just for weapons. And then we placed him in handcuffs. We read him his rights. So this is the first instance that they patted down the suspect, right? We scroll down a little bit more here, highlighted again. Deputy Reyna, who's another officer on the scene, patted down Mr. Jackson. This is the person that they were detaining and were arresting a second time. Now, this is 2 times. They've said here clearly they've patted down this individual because they responded to the call under the premise that there was a weapon involved in this domestic violence situation, the reason for the call, and that he may have had a silencer. In fact, he was alleged to have sent a picture to the girlfriend showing a gun with a silencer on it to threaten her. So this is the second time that they've searched him. No weapon. All right. Mr. Jackson was placed in the back of Deputy Hernandez's patrol vehicle, a caged Dodge Durango. That's where he was walking by when we just saw that viral clip. This is 2 times they've searched this individual for guns. Both times no guns have been found, right? Now we continue here. Deputy Hernandez described walking back to his patrol vehicle. He said, and I quote, "I start walking back to my car. So he's on the passenger side, a lot of ums, by the way, in the back seat. I'm walking up to my car. I'm about to reach for the door handle. And I'm about simultaneously, I hear to me at this time." I know you guys sounds pretty annoying hearing it how he talks, but that's how he read it or said it. "What I believe would be a suppressed weapon off to the side. Definitely heard the noise. At the same time, I felt an impact on my right side, like upper torso area. I think it's very reasonable to believe that the Acorn fell to the vehicle, tapped it. You heard a little click sound, not a silence sound. You heard a click sound, and the Acorn maybe perhaps bounced and hit him in the vest or in the side, and that's what he interpreted as being shot. But like, are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? Like, how high strung was this guy to mistaken any and all of this for being a silenced weapon and then him being shot? In fact, let's take a look, and we can do this very simply by going on YouTube.
It's super, super quiet.
Now, do you hear how loud and distinct that clack is? Like, what we heard in this video when the officer went down was more of like a little click, doink. I mean, seriously, go get an Acorn, dump it on your car. You're gonna hear a little donk. It's not the same sound as this at all in any world. Seriously. It goes on to say, he added, so I feel the impact. My legs just give out, which is wild to me. I don't know where I'm hit. I think I'm hit. I'm stuck. I rolled on the back of my car and now I'm stuck in the street. He did about 35 rolls, by the way. I knew where the the shots came from, or I believe they came from, was right there. As I'm searching for the door handle, I'm laying behind the car and I'm yelling, "Shots fired, shots fired." I returned fire until I could get cover behind another vehicle that was parked in the driveway there. And then I just remained behind the vehicle pretty much the entire time until another deputy got there, because at this point, I still believed I had been shot. He's pretty adamant that he has been shot by an Acorn. He doesn't know it's an Acorn, but he's been shot by an Acorn. Let's continue to go down. We got more, points in this IA report that's been pretty revealing. So the investigator here that's interviewing Deputy Hernandez asked if any point while Mr. Jackson, again, the person that they detained, arrested, was in the patrol vehicle, could he, Mr. Hernandez, see Mr. Jackson? Deputy Hernandez answered no, because of the tinted glass. All that was going on, so no. So again, he's just shooting in there. He knows that the guy's in there. He gives no fucks and lets off the shots. Deputy Hernandez said, "I've been advised by my attorney here. I know they didn't recover a weapon or anything like that on the scene, but I'm confident of what I just told you is what happened." Pretty ballsy for him to hold his ground. He's standing his ground here, obviously, because that's what the attorney's going to want him to do. They're playing the legal side of it. I guess I get it. But it doesn't also make sense because we know what's going on here. So he's trying to stand firm on the fact that he believed he was shot, and he's hoping that will justify his action, which is absolutely a big fat no. When asked if he had prior law enforcement experience, Deputy Hernandez said no. So there we go. No prior law enforcement. When asked about prior military experience, and this is an area I want to point out, Deputy Hernandez says he attended West Point, which means he's an officer. He was a commissioned officer more than likely. Yeah, you go to West Point, you're coming out as a commissioned officer. And was an infantry officer and an officer in Special Forces for the Army for a total of 10 years. This is where it's actually concerning to me. You went to West Point, you're a commissioned officer in the Army, you were an infantry officer, and apparently an officer of Special Forces, which they don't say what exactly in Special Forces. That could be a wide range of things. For you to be acting like that, you know what I'm saying? Deputy Hernandez said he had 2 combat rotations in Afghanistan, but noted as an officer he was not in direct combat. That is very important to state there. It's not all the times where officers are, in the trenches in the same way that enlisted troops are. you know, as a infantry officer or whatever capacity, you can, you know, be more of like a command and control aspect of it all. So it made it clear here that he was not directly in combat. So for me, it makes me wonder if he wasn't in direct combat. It's not to say you can't get PTSD from the experience, but goddamn, at the same time, you weren't kicking in doors either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was in combat. You know, I had mortars being dropped. I got the tails of mortars that almost killed me sitting right over here, you know, on the display. You know what I mean? Like rounds whizzing through the hair. You're sitting here, zoom, zoom. Shit, that was close. You know what I mean? Like, I know what it's like to be under direct fire and indirect fire, both. You know what I mean? I know what things sound like. This is so weird that he was an officer in the army, infantry, and alleged special forces, and for him to behave like this, to not discern between a little click on the top of his cruiser from an actual sound of a silenced weapon. Silencers are you know, they're not silent. They're just less noisy than, you know, firing a weapon that doesn't have it on. It subdues it a little bit more, you know. Investigator Henderson asked if he had heard firearms being shot with suppressors. Deputy Hernandez answered, yes. That's cap. There's no way he really has, for him to act like the way he acted. She then asked if the sound he heard at the incident sounded like suppressed gunfire. He then answered, yes. This guy's lying at this point. He has to be lying. Now the investigator showed him the frames like we just did, where those acorns come into the frame, and the subsequent frames where the acorn can be seen bouncing off the roof of the patrol vehicle. Deputy Hernandez asked, "Acorn?" Investigator Hogan answered, "Acorn." At this point, he's got to be perplexed. Like, he really can't. He's got to be beside himself. The investigator asking Deputy Hernandez if he thought it was possible that the noise he heard, which he had interpreted as a gunshot from a suppressed firearm, was actually the noise of an acorn striking the roof of the patrol vehicle next to him. Hernandez answered, "I'm not going to say no, because I mean, but what I 10-second pause in speaking, what I heard, 3-second pause in speaking, sounded almost like 12-second pause in speaking. What I heard sounded what I think would be louder than an acorn hitting the roof of the car, but there's obviously an acorn hitting the roof of the car." He's still trying to insinuate that it was a real silenced weapon shut off, even despite the fact of seeing it in the frame by frame. You know, he's still trying to deny it. And he knows his ass is on the line. And I think that's exactly why he's doing it. He's trying to stay on the course that, you know, that's what he believed at the time. And that's what's going to vindicate him. Because a lot of times officers can get away with stuff when they say, "I believe that my life was in danger. I believe," even if you're looking at it like, well, we're all looking at the video, the body cam, it doesn't look like you're a real threat. You know, you could have handled this differently. But when they stand on that, like, no, I believe I was going to die, it tends to get them out of a jam. Investigator Hogan asked Deputy Hernandez if, in general, he was familiar with the sound of acorns striking vehicles. Deputy Hernandez said he was. Investigator Hogan then asked if the sound could have been the sound he had heard that led him to believe Mr. Jackson had shot him. Deputy Hernandez said, "It could be." 7-second pause in speaking. "I don't think so, but it could be." We're going to scroll down to another part here. Let's see where it's at. There's so much in this report. They also interview the other deputy on the scene there. It's pretty in depth, and it's interesting to see how they do this. But I want to skip to this part right here, which is fundamentally at the core crux of why I wanted to make this video here. And it points to the underlying problem with policing in this country, is that when an officer puts himself in a position to be exposed, you know, negligence or something that could be criminal, whatever the case may be, this is what they do. Let me read you this highlighted line here. On 12/4/23, Deputy Hernandez resigned from the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Hernandez was scheduled to be interviewed by the OPS, which is the Office of Personal Standards, I'm guessing is what that is. Professional Standards, excuse me, on the 12/8/23. He was offered to still provide an interview in this matter and declined to participate. The reason for this, and this is what happens, because if you go before the Office of Professional Standards and they find you, guilty or negligent, whatever, and they terminate you, that's kind of like on your record. So what these officers do is they resign before it even escalates to that part, so that he can go to another town, city, state, and find employment as an officer. This is that bullshit that should not be happening. Within the field of policing, it should be a one-time opportunity only career. This ain't like working at a retail business, working in an office job. There is so much trust that we in the public put on officers for them to do the right thing and carry out their job the proper way, treat people with respect, uphold the law, that when they screw up this egregiously or this negligently, they shouldn't have a second chance to go to another department and do this shit again. You know what I'm saying? This is what fires me up, is that Deputy Hernandez right here. And by the way, this was so big. I think if he tries to go to another department, they're going to know who he is. And I'd be shocked if they hire him. Maybe they will, but maybe the public will keep a tab on him. And there needs to be something like that. There needs to be a website that has a listing of all these shitty cops and that has a record of what shitty thing they did. And then when they go to resign, before they get, held accountable, there's a tracker that shows where their next employment is, whatever city, state, agency that they move to, so that we can see where they're at. There needs to be something like that. It's all public record. Go find them, track them down, so we know where these shitty ass cops are moving to. But that's exactly what this deputy did. He resigned before he went before that professional standards board, and presumably maybe he lets his die down a little bit, but then he goes to another county, city, state, and applies to be a cop somewhere else. And again, this is not going to stop here. Now, the end result of all of this, if I scroll down here, I think I have the conclusion. Essentially what we have here is that in their findings, they said that the facts and the evidence show that Deputy Jesse Hernandez's use of deadly force against Mr. Jackson was not objectively reasonable. So, in much simpler words, he fucked up big time. Like, he really fucked up. That was not reasonable for him to do all of that he did. Either he is not mentally capable, mentally stable to be in that profession. Maybe there's something that we don't know in his military past that got him wound up to act like that. It almost seemed like a very triggering thing, perhaps. And if not, then he's just scary as hell. And you can't be a police officer and be that scary and be, and react that way. And on top of that, not be able to discern an actual suppressed weapon firing from an Acorn hitting the top of your cruiser. They're gonna get their ass sued for sure. I'm really gonna be interested to see what comes from the person, Mr. Jackson, who was in the back of the vehicle, who, count his blessings here, right? That man could have had his life taken just from simply sitting in the backseat of a cruiser. Now, granted, he was put in there for some foul stuff that he was doing, but two wrongs don't make a right kind of a thing here, right? The cop doing what he did, even if this guy was going to go to jail for being, a shitty boyfriend and being violent, you're not supposed to lose your life for that. You do your time, you're held accountable. So just a totally crazy situation that took the internet by storm with this Acorn cop, who definitely just needs to never need to carry a weapon ever again or a badge ever in life. Look at this. Just remember, the Acorn's gonna hit right about here, falls right there. And he was on it. Right there, the Acorn hits, and then he freaks out. Just incredible. Tumbles about 3 times, says he lost control of his legs, you know, and proceeds to light up that vehicle. It's crazy, man. Crazy.